What is up, Dallas Mavericks fans? Today was the first preseason game for the Dallas Mavericks against the Minnesota Timberwolves in Abu Dhabi, with the final score of Minnesota Timberwolves 111, Dallas Mavericks 99. It was a game of pretty much I don't say there were too many adjustments. It was a game where you can tell the coaching staff, especially Jason Kidd, is trying to get an eye and get a look on some of these, I want to say new rotational pieces, because although we do have some returning guys from the last year's team, there are a few pieces that are new, and there's going to be some turnaround. So, of course, you're going to have to try to figure out how do these new guys fit in, how do they mesh, and there are some guys that you might have not gotten a lot of playing time last year that also might be trying to see themselves, and I guess we're having a little bit more, I guess you want to say production, that we're expecting a little more production or just a little more playing time. So let's get into it real quick. The Dallas Mavericks took on the Minnesota Timberwolves today, again, with the final score being 111 Minnesota, 99 Dallas. This was a game from the first quarter. You can tell it was a game that the Dallas Mavericks coaching staff, Jason Kidd and so forth, were trying to figure out who are going to be some of their maybe possible key contributors going into this regular season. Of course, Luka Doncic is going to be in the starting lineup. Also, Kyrie Irving, those are guarantees. And of course, the new addition, Grant Williams from the Boston Celtics, that was going to be a guy guaranteed to be in the lineup. But we had heard over the last a few weeks, that Jason Kidd has had the idea to let Max Prosper and also a Derek Lively get some run in that starting lineup to see what exactly they can do. From the beginning, you could tell this was one of those games. Again, you can't put too much stock into preseason, because when you're watching these games, a lot of times there's going to be situations that coaching staffs are not going to pretty much be doing things the same way they would do normally in a regular season game. When teams going on big runs, there were certain times you saw the Minnesota Timberwolves got out to a hot start. It felt like they could not miss. They're hitting three after three. They're getting drives to the basket. Karl-Anthony Towns is out there. Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert were in the starting lineup. Anthony Edwards was not playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves today. I'm not sure how much that had to do with his long run he did have with Team USA, of course, but we're going to see a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns. This is a veteran. Rudy Gobert, these are veterans. So, and you could tell early on, they're taking it to guys like Derek Lively. They're taking it to guys like Max in certain situations. You saw Grant Williams. What I can say now, I was very impressed with actually seeing it with this team. Grant Williams is going to find some time during this season playing against bigger players, and we're going to be very surprised at how well he can actually do it. There are a few possessions you saw he was able to bother a guy like Karl-Anthony Towns, make him stop his dribble, and then have to dish the ball back out to somebody else. But like I said, this game started out with the Minnesota Timberwolves pretty much not being able to miss in the first quarter. Because again, a lot of times what we saw last year, for example, it seemed a lot of times our defense was more prevalent on letting guys get these 3-point shots off and just being able to rebound. But again, when a team is hitting their shots, this is the NBA. Sometimes you're going to be playing against guys that will just have these nights that they go nuclear. And I always call it the Dallas Mavericks curse, because more times than not, there will be some guy that you have never really heard of, and their shot will fall and will not miss. So this was one of those games. I don't want anybody putting too much stock into what they saw scoreboard wise, or even what just happened in the first half. Because again, you're going to find yourself in a little bit of you're going to find yourself freaking out a little bit if you're starting to actually just not understand. This is a process. This is a marathon. You're not really trying to get everything out of these guys. That's why you were able to see a little bit of roster and rotation lineup mix matching a little bit. Because again, there were some guys coming in at certain points with players that probably will not be the guys that they would randomly actually be able to play with during the regular season. Because again, some guys have limitations. Some guys have certain skill sets that don't mesh with other certain players. So do not put too much into that. But what we were able to see is Luka Doncic was Luka Doncic today. I mean, let's be clear. 25 points, 4 rebounds defensively, and 5 rebounds total. We're talking about, there was not much in the assist game because, again, there was not really a flow of offense. There were just some guys trying to get to their spots and just trying to see what they can get done. This is going to be pretty much ramp up stage. I'm going to expect in the next game, the second game, October 7th, against this same Minnesota Timberwolves, I'm going to expect to see maybe a little bit closer to what you may see rotation wise going to the regular season. But again, that's still not going to be much. Kyrie Irving came away from the game with 2 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, 1 of 6 on field goals. Again, I don't want to really call it a sloppy game. I'm just going to say it was a game that you can't put too much stock into. We know Kyrie Irving's not ever going to have any games where he's scoring 2 points, if all healthy. Derek Lively, 2 points, 5 total rebounds. He did have a block today, a nice block, and again helped us get out to transition, and I believe led to a foul on the other end. So Derek Lively has a lot to work on, but again, we're talking about veteran players. It doesn't matter what you think level of player Rudy Gobert is or Karl Anthony Towns. When he's playing against a guy like Derek Lively, this is a rookie. This is a young kid. They're going to be able to take advantage of guys that don't really know what they're doing, just now getting their feet wet. Grant Williams, 6 points, 2 total rebounds, had an assist, also had a block today. So, and again, he started out a little bit slow, but as you saw as the game went on, knocked down a couple nice 3-pointers. So let's just be very patient with guys like this, because and Omax Prosper, let's go into him real quick. Just 1 point, 1 rebound. But he is going to be a guy that I'm going to expect to see defensive pressure. That's going to be his calling card. Transition, easy cuts to the basket, and pretty much, like I said, defense. That's what an Omax Prosper is going to be able to give you, I believe, in his first couple years in this league, while he kind of tries to round out his offensive game, because we know for a lot of guys, usually where they can help out the quickest, if they have the athletic ability, if they do have the mindset, they're going to be able to help you defensively. So Omax Prosper, Derek Lively, they showed that they were rookies today, but I'm not stressing. It's nothing changing the trajectory I think they can have for the season, because again, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Rome wasn't built in a day. I want people to just temper their expectations for now. Let these kids get their feet wet. We're talking about this, especially for Derek Lively and Omax again. This is their first time that they're actually getting any playing time in an NBA game. This is not the college kids that they were used to going against. These are now professional grown men that have been, a lot of them veterans, that have been in this league for a while. So you're going to have to see, you got to take your little bumps and bruises in the beginning and then see where that helps you develop. Also, a guy I'm going to say now, again, it's a sleeper role. Markieff Morris, to me, I feel like he's going to have a nice role on this team. Again, it may be maybe those 10, 15 minutes a night, maybe on certain nights. But I feel like Markieff Morris is going to bring that tough grittiness. And honestly, he can knock down a couple shots here and there. So that's going to be a guy I'm going to tell people to keep their eyes on. We know Maxi Kleber. He's going to be your spot-up guy, defensive pressure at certain points during this season. Another guy I'm going to say now, I feel like he's going to be, maybe I'm going to say the de facto backup big. Maybe it depends on what we choose, the route we choose to take with the starting center, of course. But Richaun Holmes, that's going to be a guy I feel like people are going to sleep on a little bit. He didn't really get any first half playing time, but you saw in the second half, he was able to show he has a nice little low post game. He did play a nice little couple defense. Because in the second half, the Dallas Mavericks start to get themselves back into this game, inch in a little bit closer. And Dwight Powell, we all know, as much as everyone loves him, some people hate him. What I will say, Dwight Powell is a guy that just knows where to be. He does play with energy, and that's not something you can just coach. You either have it or not. So like I said, to me, Dwight Powell is going to be a perfect mentor in conjunction with Tyson Chandler, of course, to a guy like Derek Lively. Just teaching him those small things that it takes to play with a Luka Doncic and a Kyrie Irving. Because, again, we did see a Derek Lively go down and catch a nice lob today, too. So if he's now getting a little bit better at the screen game, and we know if he can show defensive pressure, he's going to be good to go. One thing I do want Derek Lively to be very careful of is just staying out of foul trouble, because you cannot be the starting big and be getting an early foul trouble. I believe he had 4 fouls today. That's something you're going to learn. He's just now getting his feet wet, just getting started. Other than that, there wasn't much from this game other than Jaden Hardy. I will say Jaden Hardy is going to be a guy I'm expecting potentially could be, and I'm not going to say now guaranteed or anything, but that's going to be a guy I can see possibly being a sixth man. So A.J. Lawson, Dante Exum, these are some other guys you're going to find yourselves in the mix. Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't really get any playing time today, but like I said, this is just a game for the Dallas Mavericks to get their feet wet, finally ramp up, get some of these new guys in the mix. And I feel like as long as we just stay on course and continue to just develop, we're good to go. The Dallas Mavericks' very next game will be on Saturday, October 7th. I believe it'll be around the same time in Abu Dhabi, again, against this exact same Minnesota Timberwolves team. There was no Anthony Edwards in this game, so maybe we'll see exactly what his availability is for next game. But what you're looking to see is some of these young guys, again, like a Derek Lively, like an Omax Prosper. Again, a guy I'm hoping to see get a little bit more, I guess, find himself in the mix of some playing time this year, and a guy like A.J. Lawson if he's able to make the team. Also, a guy like Richaun Holmes, I'm going to say I think he probably has a little bit of a good case to find himself getting that backup role, I guess those backup minutes at the center position. So we'll see. Again, the next game will be October 7th. 7th against the same Minnesota Timberwolves. We'll tap back in. We'll see exactly if this team has made any adjustments, if they're doing things a little bit differently, because again, this is preseason. What you're trying to find out is who are going to be some of the guys that you can maybe count on going into the regular season. So I appreciate you guys for all the support. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, keep sharing it around so we can keep growing the channel. Overall, I appreciate you guys for all the support. You are amazing. And as always, go Mavs.